Hit record here. Awesome. Welcome to our monthly volunteer training. I'm Alicia. For you guys who don't know me, I make embarrassing Instagram videos and send you annoying email blasts, but nobody can ever say that I didn't tell them what's going on. So, my job here at the county level is to train volunteers and to help them to be successful in their club. We've got Blake and Jenny who are over more of the project areas. Blake is going to handle livestock this year and horses and dogs and kind of outdoor stuff. Jenny handles STEAM, and then I will handle any kind of like arts and crafts. I work with Nick Valesky, who's on to do our Junior Master Gardeners. He mostly does it. I just am there. But my role is to set you guys up for success. And the way that I have decided to try to do that this year is obviously doing these volunteer trainings, as well as providing resources for you that you can come get at our office, kits to check out for leadership. We will do a club youth leadership seminar in June, more trainings, just things to keep you as a successful volunteer, because I can't be at everything. So I need awesome volunteers like you guys. So I'm going to share my screen. Today we are talking about, there we go. You can see volunteer training series. You're good? Sweet. Okay. So we're talking about club businesses and finances today. And I'm going to move this over here so I'm looking at you guys. There we go. Okay. Now it should be on the right one. So volunteer club business and finances, we'll get into that in a second, but I wanted to go over some upcoming things real quick. So we've got teen council. We've got, this class was actually canceled, so I guess I should take that off. But we've got a We Do class, which is like kind of getting little kids into like robotics. And then we've got craft club, cake decorating coming up, photography class. You can see all this stuff there. Really fun things going on in March. And then if you want to save the date, June 3rd is going to be our youth leadership training seminar. It's just going to be a day thing here in the office, at our county office. And then we will also have the fair is August 12th through 14th. So just make note, the fair is later this year than normal, but that's just due to the way it falls. All right, so let's get into some club business and finances. So what is the format of a 4-H club meeting? This is the question I have been getting a lot, especially with new leaders recently, is how do I even run my meeting? And what I have come up with are these little cards that I will be printing more of that you can just come get at my office if you want, that have the 4-H pledge on them, as well as like the Pledge of Allegiance. And then on the back is just kind of a tiny agenda that you just can keep in your pocket for like, okay, do I have like, this is kind of the way I'm going to run my meetings. So if you're interested, I have these in my office. I realize that you're not being able to see them, but they're about this big. And they're super, super helpful to have just when you run stuff. So those are available in my office just to keep you like on the same page. So the format typically with a club meeting is a welcome, maybe some sort of like icebreaker activity. Then you'll do the pledges, Pledge of Allegiance, 4-H pledge, maybe like a game of some kind. You'll talk about what you did last time and then go into your project learning through club instruction, or and then end with kind of a review of like homework or other club business. So there is actually an agenda that I really like to use that I can send you that looks like this, where it has the topic at the top, who's leading the topic, how much time we have, and then just kind of like guides us through our questions. So I'm actually going to show you what our teen council agenda looks like. So I met with our teen council presidency, which is 4 girls or 4 youth, and I said, okay, what do you guys want to get done at this meeting? And they filled out their agenda. So that's what you can do with your club youth leaders to help them learn how to fill out an agenda. So you can see here our president is Chloe. She filled it out, and then she went through and she put in like questions. Here's our topic about like, this is the main thing they're learning about. This person said, I'll lead this discussion. She filled her section out, and then we just went through. And then that way you can have kind of a structure to each meeting. And it was really good to have my youth, like the teens, fill it out because they learn how to seek input from people. I kind of think of it as like adding tools to their toolbox. Like people, as they get into the workforce, they need to know how to make an agenda, how to seek input, how to make like have healthy discussions. It helps them to estimate time and stick to it. Oh, there's a typo. I am not perfect. Okay. Um, so this way your club is structured around what the youth want to do rather than just like you being this leader. Now obviously you are the expert and you are the leader and you can have a say in what like the project learning area is, but it helps them to lead the meetings. So that way when they get up, they're like, okay, I've been assigned to do the welcome. I'm Alicia, I'm the club president for Underwater Basket Weaving. And today we have a few things we need to talk about for our service project. And then Nick is going to teach us about how to pick materials for our underwater baskets. So that way they learn how to direct a meeting, and they learn the leadership skills that are necessary in order to run an effective meeting. So if you don't have youth leaders that are established, like our teen council youth presidency, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. They're the same people that are going to be filling out the agenda every single time. But if you have rotating leaders or like younger kids that don't really have a leadership yet, you can start them off small by saying, will you welcome everybody to the meeting? Can you bring a game for next time? Or if you have older kids and you rotate through who does what, meet with just those 4 for the next meeting. So say like Chloe, Holly, Brinley, and Emma, they're our leaders this month. But next month it might be Blake, Ike, Jenna, and what's her name? Emma. So it's like then I will meet with those 4 and we will discuss the next month's meeting. So that way everybody's taking turns. So there's a couple different ways you can do leadership. It just depends on your club. And we'll go into that more in depth in another meeting. But this was just more to show how a meeting is kind of run because I've had a lot of questions about that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Here we go. And we're going to talk about money because this is something that I also get a lot of questions about is what do I do with club finances? I'm just talking like, show me the money. So the university policy is as such. It's a lot of words, but summed up is basically you can collect funds if they're de minimis in nature, if they're if they're small amounts, if they're not donations. If they're donations, they have to be routed through the advancement of the university. And I have a contact for that that we can connect you with if you have questions about that. They can't be, the funds collected by a club can't be used for overnight travel or like scholarships, and they can't be held for more than 30 days. So I asked our business services and advancement specialist, and the reasoning is just because they want to protect you as a volunteer. So if you were to collect funds for a fundraiser to get t-shirts and then you immediately went and bought the t-shirts, that's okay. But if you're going to fundraise in February to use the money in August for fair treats, you would need to probably go and get like an index, and I can help you set that up. It's just a bank account on campus, and it's not complicated at all to make purchases from it. But most clubs fall under this financial policy of like the funds aren't kept for more than 30 days. There's not like thousands and thousands of dollars in this person's bank account. And the reason USU does this is just to protect you as a volunteer. And then just as a backup, what this, her name is Michelle, what she suggested is just have whoever is like a volunteer club leader, an adult, keep track of how much money is raised and where the money goes every single meeting. So that way you're not like everybody is aware of the budget and it's not like somebody has the money in their personal bank account and they're just like spending it willy-nilly. So if the funds are de minimis in nature and it's not going to be held for more than 30 days, you don't need an index. But as an example, okay, so I was not going to go yet. As an example, we have the Dog Club and the Horse Club that are 2 of our biggest fund collecting clubs right now. And we don't fund them as a county. They fund themselves by charging activity fees. The activity fees go into their bank account index on campus when kids register through Z Suite. And then when they need to make a purchase, they come to Blake, and Blake will make a purchase with his P card and then just take it out of their index. So the easiest thing we found that the horse and dog do is they'll send us like an Amazon link, and it'll be like, I need 12 orange cones for this activity. Can you order them? Blake will do it and he'll approve the purchase and it'll get taken from their index. But they keep funds for years on end, because they're always like gathering stuff. If you're only doing things for a short amount of time, you don't need to do an index. Like it just gets confusing. But where they are constantly raising things, that's why they have a bigger account. So, and I'll have time for questions at the end if there's anything, but that's why they do what they do. And I just felt the need to clarify that, like, we as a county don't fund clubs typically. I have a few funds set aside to get things going, but then at that point, most people fund their own clubs. So this is the financial policy as far as fundraising goes. Just adhere to USU cash handling policy, which I can link to. Make sure that if you're fundraising, it gets into an approved USU index, and then seek approval from our county director, which is JD Gunnell, and he's awesome. And we can talk to him if you want to do a fundraiser. He's super chill. So I'm really not worried about that at all. So any fundraising cash activities need to be handled through USU, just to protect you as a volunteer and to protect me as a coordinator and your club members. So we have somebody on campus, like I said, her name is Michelle, who can help us with specific details, because sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry, especially when dealing with money. So if your club does a hot dog stand at the baseball fields all summer, raises thousands of dollars, we probably need to put that into an index. But if your club does window washing, raises a couple $100s that go into a fund to buy t-shirts at the end of the year, probably doesn't need to be routed through USU. Don't quote me. So I think the best thing to do is, if you want to fundraise, I'll get in contact with Michelle, and between you and me and Michelle, we can just have a conversation of how this would work. And she might tell us we don't need to worry about something, and she might tell us we need to do something. I don't know the ins and outs of the policy like she does, so I'm grateful we have her as an asset. But these are some things that our office can do. We can make a club fee on Z Suite. So the Junior Master Gardeners Club is going to start a club fee in April that is $15 for them to join the club. It gets put into an index that we can take out of to fund activities. We can deposit funds in an index, like anything with indexes, like I can help you figure that out. Make a purchase from your index, like I explained the dog club with the cones. If you need a bunch of copies made for meetings, we can make copies in-house for super cheap, just so you can have like paperwork done. Obviously, if it's like 2 or 3 copies, I'm sure we're fine. But if you need to print out booklets or resources, like just email them, we can get them printed out, and then you can just pay us when you get here. I can also connect you to resources to check out. So we just cleaned out our storage shed and our kitchen facility, and we've got a few things that you can check out as a club. So we've got leadership activities, we've got money management activities you can check out. We've got I know Jenny down at Cash Makers has a few things she's able to check out. So we can help you get resources for lessons. Another thing that I didn't put on here that I meant to is, each of the coordinators in your county has specific specialties that they're able to come out and do a club meeting for you. So Blake is really, really good with dog training, because he used to do that, as well as any kind of shooting sports, outdoor education. I can come out and do something about resumes and the importance of portfolios. Jenny's really good at technology stuff. So if there's an activity you want to do, we can either come out and do a club meeting for you, or we can connect you with someone who can. Then the last part, and this isn't something that we advertise a lot, but if there is somebody who wants to participate in 4-H and they cannot pay the $10 enrollment fee, we can have them fill out a form for low income so that they're able to participate in 4-H. They just have to qualify for a few things, and then we'll just waive their fees, because we don't want money to be a reason people don't participate as a 4-H'er. And I can't cover project fees. So like if your club is doing a yarn, like underwater basket weaving, I can't cover the cost of the reeds, but I can, in certain situations, waive the $10 fee. I do have funds set aside to help low income families. So That's just like the very tip of the iceberg as far as finances go as a club. And we can definitely get more into depth if we need to for your specific club, but that just helps give you an idea of where to get started. There's other resources that you can use to raise funds for your club, like grants. I know the Junior Master Gardener Club and the oh my gosh, the Dog Club, they're working on grants that will route through the university. Um, to help pay for some of their stuff. But most of the activities that people are doing in 4-H right now, and financial wise, they don't need to be routed through USU because they're so de minimis in nature. So, with that, are there any questions that I can answer, or that maybe could be beneficial for a group, or we can talk one on one? I don't know.
Yeah, you were talking about like if the funds are de minimis in nature, and then you say you raised $500 and you only spent 400 of it, what do you do with the extra?
Okay, so this is a question that I might need to ask Michelle on, because I feel like I would say it probably needs to go into an index if you're going to carry it over into another season. But if it's going to get spent in that 4-H season, I don't know if you would need to put it in an index, but we can definitely talk to Michelle and see what she suggests. And then if it is to set up an index, like, it sounds complicated, but it's not. It's basically just getting you a bank account that I have access to, you have access to. I can send you reports that show you how much you have every month. If you need to make a purchase, let me know. I'll go do it for you. Or we can do reimbursements. It's just a pain. It's much easier if you say, hey, we're going to get these t-shirts as a club. We got them approved. We have the order ready. Will you go pay for it? And that's what we do. That's what Blake has done with horse stuff before.
Okay, so when you say a 4-H season, like say we do a fundraiser in March, but we end up not using the money until like June.
I think that would fall in it's the enrollment year. So September to September. Yeah,
okay,
sorry.
So okay, I was thinking like I thought you meant you had to use that money immediately, like within the next month after you raise the funds.
Yeah, so the policy is 30 days, but with that de minimis in nature rule, it might be okay to hold it over. That's why maybe we need to just have a conversation with Michelle and just see what she suggests we do.
Okay. What else was there? Okay, let me look at my notes.
You're fine.
Am I the only one here that's not a...
No, you're fine. I'm glad you have these questions.
So with my club, we have both livestock and we have craft. And a lot of the people do both, but there's some that don't, that will just do one or the other. So usually the parents of the kids in the craft club, they take a week and they provide the supplies for the craft or ask people to donate their own supplies. So in that case, that'd be hard to be reimbursed every time, like you said. So would it be better just to have a fund that they can just use the money to buy things that way?
Yeah, if you want to. So like, I know with one of our clubs, they did a tie-dye activity, and one volunteer went and got all the supplies, and everybody just like Venmo'd her because it was just like, I'm paying for my supplies. This one person's just going to pick it all up. Does that make sense?
But if we use club funds, like
oh yeah. So then what you do at that point is whoever's in charge of it that week or whatever, they can let me know what they need, and I can either go to Joann's, I can go to Walmart, or I can go with them, and they can just like come with me and we'll go shopping together to get stuff.
Okay,
that's my job.
I know you kept talking about going just an Amazon link, but like, what if you just need to go to a local store? Like that seems really like putting you out a lot.
Nope, that's literally my job. I get to shop with you guys. I did it with our crochet club back in February of last year. I went with Joanne, or with the volunteer to Joann's, and helped pick out stuff. So that way it was like I could spend more time. I want to know my volunteers. So
okay.
And
Okay,
they
well, that's
do
good to
have
know.
reimbursement options, but if you're going to get reimbursed, they have to have things like the full itemized receipt, their name, their full address, because we mail things. It just takes longer. So if it's like you spent $5 real quick, like it's not a big deal. But like 2 years ago, we had our horse club president buy all the jackets on their personal card. And so they were out like $1,500, and they were like, where's my reimbursement? And it's like, it does take a while. So at that point, I would have rather them said, hey, can you go pay for these shirts? So,
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
yep. Yep.
Okay. And one thing I've been a little nervous about is actually holding a fundraiser during the pandemic. Like, how do you do that safely? And like, do you just have to follow the same guidelines as a club meeting? But
Yep.
like, if you have other people coming,
I think
if you do a car wash type thing, I don't know, there's going to be other people there besides who's in your club. So how do you do that?
yeah, that is a really good question. And I honestly don't know the answer right now, but I can definitely look into it, because we're probably going to have more information about that, especially if it keeps going into club season, like May. Like when I say 4-H season, most people think of 4-H as like March through September. I just tend to I do it all year round. But yeah, I definitely can look into that. I'll write it down to ask like how to fundraise with COVID, because that is a great question. Okay.
I guess that
Let
would
me
kind
look
of fall
into that.
under the same purview as service projects as well.
Yep.
I
Yep.
guess.
So I'll look into those. It's hard because if it's me putting something on, I have stricter rules as an office than clubs do, because I am running the event. But when it's like a club, it's such a gray area. I'd have to talk to Risk.
Okay.
So let me do some digging on that. But that's a really good question.
Okay. And then also, I've been playing with the idea of just having a Facebook page for my club, but is it possible to ask for donations on a Facebook page from public? Like,
ooh, these are really good questions, and I don't know the answer to that one either. Facebook page donations.
because that might be a safer way to do it during the pandemic too.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask. And as far as creating a page, I think that's a really great idea to get like your club out there. I think it's awesome. So if you need help with anything like that, like definitely let me know. But I will look into those things, because these are great questions.
Okay. Well, that's all I had about finance stuff, but I
Okay.
had other questions too later. So,
Okay, sounds great. Well, if there isn't anything else, this was a really good meeting. And if you want information about what I'm going to find out, you can call me or you can email me, and we can get an answer that way. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thanks to everybody who came.